first, I greet myself seated within you all. You must be wondering what is this new address like, but I feel that you and me are not different, and with that oneness, I am just starting, so I greet myself only. So, introduction to seminar and Jnanipurus. Today we are living in the era of science, and progress of physical or outer sciences have gifted us with abundance of luxuries, progress in stem cell, nanotechnology, genetics, communication, information technology, and now so-called God particles. The physicists feel that as if we are to conquer the world. But if I look within, what about my inner living? And one definition of science is which can make humans happy in all perspectives, especially from within. So if I look within, then still I have unrest, clash, lack of harmony, and this is where there is a need of holistic inner science. Now what is holistic inner science all about? It's the science of our own life and living, science of I with mind, body, speech, and surroundings with a natural regulatory system. In other words, it's a science which deals with the relative self as well as the real self, or Purush and Prakriti. It's a science of pure conscious as related to matter, and it can be rightly said that human life is a unique live experiment. We have been knowing the experiment which are being conducted in the laboratory, but if we try to understand our own life and living, it's a unique live experiment of the universe, wherein my mind, body, speech, inner self, and outer circumstances all constitute an experiment, and living as I am is the experimental, which we will see in the presentation how does that go through. So it includes everything from art and science of daily living for happy harmonious living to absolute pure knowledge or the ultimate. The word holistic the word holistic means it is all inclusive, all comprehensive in totality. Actually, the inner science and outer science are not different, but it is the continuation or continuum of the same spectrum. And it is useful and beneficial to one and all, irrespective of caste, color, creed, nationality, faith, or socio-economic status. It has been rightly said that the whole universe is within, Pindeso Brahmande, and so one needs to research the universe within. Everything is part of whole and interconnected. Benefits of knowing the holistic inner science: happy, harmonious human living, inner freedom, realization of inner potentials and making best use of it, knowing the ultimate truth and ultimate goal of liberation. Seminar presentations will be followed by interactive sessions. Make it as live as it is possible by asking as many questions. It is all ours and by us. It's not that we speakers are to teach here anything. We are amongst you and we are just sharing, so please be part of it. We may not look at academic completeness or beauty of the presentation, but if it leads us to inner journey, if it gives us even a single vision which can be useful to change our life, I think the purpose of the seminar is achieved. Please put cell phones in silent mode, already told. And the kit has the program schedule, and there is a CD which contains books and some aphorisms or songs, and for those interested, the other books and material will be available. Who is the holistic scientist? One who has the thorough experience of real self and relative self, whose all doership ego and mindless ego have vanished, who can throw light on science of conscious and matter related to conscious, and whose only wish is let this science reach to one and all, such that all can attain peace and happiness. Sri Kanu Dadaji is founder visionary. We expect him to be here sometime during the day. So this is the photograph of first founder visionary, His Holiness A.M. Patel, and the present Sri Kanu Dadaji. So this was the brief introduction about the holistic inner science. So now I move on to my presentation proper. Is it good? All right?
Yes.
Okay. As I go to my presentation, it has three parts. One is the some visions which are useful for daily happy harmonious living. We can say it is a Vyavhar Vignan. Second is we go to the core part of human life experiment. What is in my realm and what is not, what is fate, what is free will, and how the natural regulatory system works. And based on that, I can have my Purusharth or free will part, how best to be used. And third, if we dive deeper, who am I, that is the part of self-realization, how can it be attained and what are my experiences. In respect of time, I may jump over some of the points because it's a very vast science, but I'll try to cover all the three components if possible. So present day looking as Vijay uncle has rightly said that you are all living in a land of abundance and still having everything. If we look inside, probably most of us are looking for inner peace, happiness and harmony. Do we have fulfillment at heart or do we feel empty at heart? Sometimes inner unrest, clashes and stresses, problems of adjustment. This is one of the very important features of this era between husband, wife, parents, children or colleagues. You may not be happy by dealings of near and dear ones. Most of us sitting here are senior citizens. If we look back during the life, we may not have been happy by dealings of near and dear ones. So many people feel loneliness and that's why they keep a dog with them to get rid of the loneliness. How do you measure the life? What have we achieved in the life? So purpose or aim of life, am I clear? So in the self-assessment questionnaire, we have put some few points which can make us look inside. Am I living a meaningful, balanced life? What I mean here is, I may have excelled in professional life, I may have accumulated good number of dollars, but if I look to all corners of my life, that is social life, familial life, personal life, professional life, and a spiritual life, have I done well in all the corners of my life? In other words, sometimes along with IQ, we do talk of EQ and SQ also, and WHO has revised the addition of total health as mind, body, soul health. Initially, we were only thinking of physical, now we speak of everything. We may have several questions. Why it occurred to me only? Why so? What is in my realm and what is not? Can I control mind? And how best? Who am I? Liberation, is it really possible? On spiritual side, many of us may be thriving sincerely, but still we may not be achieving desired results, and sometimes anger, greed, pride, deceit, they may be bugging us. So what's the correct way of inner journey? So if we start thinking all around all these questions, let's try to seek some answers during the presentation. So this I have already covered, so I'm just leaving. The holistic inner science also deals with the cause-effect or charge and discharge of the matter, or so to say karmic bonds, fate and free will, and universe as a whole. It deals with the relative inner self, mind, reflective consciousness, intellect and ego, as well as the science of speech. In other words, it's the total knowledge of my inner self as well as the cosmos or universe as a whole. Now there are certain unique aspects and contributions of this science. Number one, it is easy, practical and result giving. Beforehand, I was trying to study so many methods and sciences, but were appearing very hard, sometimes very difficult to do. As against, this is very easy. It does not ask for rituals, traditions, hard penances or other external renunciations, but what it asks is only for the correct understanding or right visions. Holistic means for one and all. I have already said, it clearly gives the understanding of fate and free will, or prarabdha and purusharth. Most of you may be wondering that so far people may have tried to define what is fate, what is free will, but may not have been clear. A very wonderful, unique concept of scientific circumstantial evidences has been given by His Holistic Holiness Sri Dada Bhagwan as the regulation of our own life and the universe. Pratisthit Atman or belief soul, migratory soul and pure soul self. I am not going to detail this, but I am deliberately putting it over here so that further in your journey you can try to find out more about all these things. holistic science of nature in human being, and a SSC failed person comes out with a very divine unique aphorism: the world is the puzzle itself. Nobody has puzzled it. By itself it is a puzzle, and then there are two viewpoints to solve this puzzle, one relative, the other real. And another thing, we had heard in Veda, Brahma Satya, Jagat Mithya, but the Jagat is not Mithya or illusionary. The world is relative correct, my pure self is real correct, and both has to be parallel for me to achieve the ideal. Now, going through some important concepts in various areas, happiness. Everybody of us is looking at the happiness, and when I was researching and I was experimenting and examining myself, I came to know that happiness doesn't lie in abundance. Things are not negated, let you have you can enjoy the things, but whenever I decide that I will help my patient, or even suppose my grandson's birthday is coming, and I decide that after 15 days I will hold a small party, invite few kids and distribute few chocolates. I haven't invited anybody as yet, not spent a penny, but from the moment I decide, I start feeling happy. Even a small act of putting grains for birds, and you start feeling happy. What's the science behind that? Whatever actions of my mind, body, speech, which are going to make others happy, will make me happy first. And on the contrary, suppose somebody tells me that in your absence your staff was playing all indiscipline and nonsense, then my mind will start revolving, let me go home, I will fire them and I will do what not. They may be enjoying, what happens to me? I will be fired first before firing them. So whatever actions of my mind, body, speech which are going to hurt others will hurt me first. If this simple, basic, universal principle is understood and applied by me, what would I do? Probably I'll try to open the happiness shop. Have you ever come across the happiness shop? I saw everything, Walmart, Kmart, I don't know how many names are there, but I'm yet hunting for a small happiness shop. What does it mean? Opening happiness shop means I just decide that whosoever meets me from morning to evening throughout my life, if I can offer them some happiness. I don't have dollars. I'm in shortage of dollars. So do I need dollars always? No. It's my inner attitude, my inner inclination, my inner decision, and mind, body, speech is my biggest asset. So if I open the happiness shop, I'll never be in shortage of happiness, because if I have the shop of sweetmeats, I'll never be in shortage of sweetmeats. So this is the first basic fundamental the holistic scientists want to give us, that decide to use mind, body, speech for others, yoga, upayogo, paropakara. But again, going further and examining, am I really obliging others? Every religion says oblige others. But if I examine with my intellect, why should I oblige others? I have enough of problems with me. First, let me take care of myself and then do for others. But here, no sooner I decide to oblige others, I am obliging myself first. Before helping others, I am being helped. Before hurting others, I am being hurt. So, really I am obliging myself and not anybody else. So, world is me only. At the outset I started that I don't feel that you are different. Now, if we look from the relative angle of the interactive dealings, why the world is me only? Because as I already said, the actions of my mind, body, speech will first affect me positively or negatively. If I say, Vijay bhai, you are a nice person, even before I speak, my face will be smiling. And if I decide to say, hey, you are stupid, even before I say that, I will be hurt inside. So with that in mind, the world is not different from me. Even in interconnected, interactive dealings, world is me only. And the last word about relative happiness and real happiness, the enlightened ones have always tried to be with the real self. So relative happiness is dependent on the circumstances. As long as the circumstances are favorable, one feels happy. As long as, even if one circumstances become unfavorable, one feels unhappy, let it be there. But suppose I am given everything what I want. I am invited to a marriage ceremony of a very good friend of mine where he offers me more than required. For how many days would I enjoy? Couple of days? Then I'll get bored. I'll feel, let me go home, take out all these ornaments and be at ease. So the relative happiness doesn't give you the ultimate feeling of happiness, whereas the real happiness is independent of circumstances, but it starts after knowing who am I. Now certain holistic visions for daily living avoid clashes. I know that in USA people don't enter into outside clashes probably, I'm not sure, you can say. But no sooner I enter into clash, outer or inner, what happens? I lose my inner harmony, I lose my inner positivity, sometimes my mood is off and whatnot. So decide to avoid the clashes, and no sooner I decide to avoid the clashes, my inner light will show me the way how to sail it out without entering into clashes. Somebody will ask me, is it surrendership? Not at all. It is not surrendering to the situation, it is resolving the situation with a proper understanding of the holistic visions. And after all, everyone may be right by his or her own viewpoint. Most of the times clash happens because I believe and I become adamant that I am right, indicating you are not. But everybody may be right by his or her own viewpoint. Sometimes I do not understand. I want my staff to understand and do the things with the speed I am thinking. But my revolutions, my speed of comprehending and thinking may be different than his speed. If I don't realize this, there are going to be clashes. So resolve the situations you face amicably with equanimity. Now this is about clashes in the interactive dealings. What about my inner clashes? I have more important inner clashes or conflicts, and the questions which comes to why one behaves in such a manner with me, why to me? And if I cannot resolve these inner things, mind seeks resolving answer. My inner self asks me that give me some solution, give me resolving vision. If I can't do that, the unresolved puzzles leads to tension or sometimes depression, anxiety or psychiatric illnesses. And I don't know, fortunately or unfortunately, but the statistics say that the sale of psychiatric medicines in USA is highest in the world. I don't know why. So resolve the inner self and inner clashes with the holistic inner science visions. And suppose I have hurt somebody and that may keep on bugging me, then there is a cleansing process of confession, apology and resolution. I am not going into detail, I am just mentioning. If somebody has hurt me, then my holistic inner science vision tells me why I am being hurt, or is he the independent doer to hurt me. Still, if at the end, if it is left out in my self-interest, I will decide to forgive. Because if I decide to take the revenge, I will be disturbed for a very long time. If I forgive, first I am doing good to me. And loneliness. People are seeking love from outside, that why people are not loving me, I am feeling lonely. But the holistic scientists say that without keeping expectation, I start loving the people and all living beings unconditionally, without expectation, and this unilateral venture from me will first feel in my heart, I will never feel lonely. So, and again when I pray, let one and all attain peace and happy, harmonious living, it is first I am who is getting benefited rather than anybody else. Suppose I want to move further. I have learned the art of avoiding clashes. What next? Adjust everywhere. In the previous times of our fathers and forefathers, I have seen the days of scarcity, and probably that was a problem. In present days, even our grandson can get 3 pairs of Reebok shoes instead of 1, and there are n number of shoes and clothes lying in the wardrobes. So that's not the problem. Then what is the problem? There may be 4 members in a family, but the adjustment may be difficult. It's all right that we are staying together, but our heart may not be aligned, and that's why we prefer to go in individual rooms as soon as possible, and we can't sit together for a long time. Now what's the vision for getting adjusted? One simple vision he gave is, we go to farms and we go to gardens also. Do you like farms or do you like gardens, or both?
Both.
Both. So at least you like gardens, right?
Yes.
Now if we go to gardens, we can observe that each tree or a plant is a different one. Some is rose, pink rose and yellow and white and other flowers and blueberry and strawberry. But does one plant ever complain to other? Does rose tell to the mango that why don't you have a beautiful flower like me? Or does the mango tell to the rose that why don't you have a beautiful fruit like me? then what we humans do? We human always ask to others, why you do not have the quality which I want from you? And that's the very cause of lack of adjustment. So if I have this vision that all human personalities are natural occurrences, but none without a fruit or a flower, meaning thereby everybody has unique fruit or a flower in terms of positive abilities, virtues or something. A good person at a house or at a workplace, who is a good manager? One who knows the different abilities of the colleagues and puts to the good use and never complains of what one doesn't know. So with this little change of vision, the life can take a total transformation change and you can enjoy the fruits. So master the art of adjusting everywhere under all circumstances with all different personalities, and not only with the persons or human beings, but adjust with the circumstances also, and you will not only be happy in the worldly life, but you will sail to the liberation. Now let's apply these visions to our own home. Can it be a heaven on earth?
Yes.
Yes, very much. For how many of us it is heaven on earth right now? Okay, I'm very happy. So it starts with win your own home, the world need not be conquered. Yes, I expect the same thing, because at the trail end of the journey, this must be there. So win your own home, the world need not be conquered. And we start with the husband-wife, which is the most important and pious relation. Unfortunately, sometime I was reading some article over here, and it says that in USA, the percentage of singles has been alarmingly 37 or 40%. If people are single, higher probably. I don't know, I just go through what comes across me. Why? Because they don't know the elixir of adjusting with every other. So it should be in the form of a best friendship. Now let's go back and take the stock of our entire life, because most of you are seniors and having married life of 30, 40, 50 years. So have we been able to live with as a best friends? Suppose in a privacy somebody asks you, do you want to have the same partner if it is to be carried ahead? Like she says, no, I don't want the same partner. Most of us don't want the same partner. That suggests what? That suggests we are lacking somewhere. And Rajul and Neminath were partners for 9 births together. So the vision, 2 eyes may remain separate, but as long as one eye is loving, sharing, caring, friendly with the other eye, it's a win-win situation. When one eye tries to win over the other, the show starts. And we should use the word we and ours, and not I and you or mine and yours, if we want to be harmonious. And subtler aspects, there are karmic bonds. And we want to dispose the karmic bonds in such a way that at least we don't invite more complex and more difficult karmic bonds. So here lies the vision that decide to remain as best friends, adjust everywhere, and still, if you have entered, see, if I am to do, I will sit back, look back to my entire life from the first I saw my wife, and during the entire life I will see where all my mistakes were, where I happened to hurt her, where my opinions were predominantly disturbing the situation, and I'll seek for an apology. I'll confess within my heart, I'll seek the apology at my heart, seeing the God within her, I'll decide not to do it again. So even if I may not be able to say her on face, I'll do from my heart, and that will relieve me of all my mental baggages and will make me happy, harmonious, and it will also have the positive effect on the other part. Parents, children, again the same situation. When I came for the first time in 94, somebody told me some wisdom proverb that most of the times people say by going to USA, especially our Indians, we get dollars but lose children. I don't know how much true it is, but if we take the stock, children are our thermometers, and the policy is glass handled with care. No matter what rage you have in your mind, you never throw the glassware because it will break. Children seek love, and they learn what they see and not what you tell them to learn. They are watching, observing how my parents are living with each other, how the others are living. And of course, as a children also I have duty towards my parents. So now taking the stock, children are my own accounts, whether they have done good to us, whether they have behaved favorably or unfavorably, it is my own accounts, and so they are not at fault. So either forgive Or again, what makes us unhappy is our attachment, our belief of mindness. And here the truth is, suppose if we wonder, where are my kids of last birth? Do I remember them?
No.
No. So all these relatives are temporary arrangements or attachments, and real is permanent. So some truth has to be realized, and ultimately I'm getting bothered about my own children or my own family, but the visionaries say that no sooner my vision expands, the whole world is my family, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. It's all right in the present time, for most of the parents, children are away, but if you start loving whosoever are around you, you will have a new family of unconditional love, and the whole universe will be your family. A word about beliefs and psychological effects. Have we ever thought that life is a bundle of beliefs and psychological effects? Am I aware of the beliefs being harbored? I'll give you a funny example. When I came here for the first time, people were looking at us, somebody with an eye of, what is this new thing? And one of my friends said, I was moving in alone by side of his house, and they were just slowly laughing at me. So I said, Dr. Mehul is his name, why are you laughing? So this is the night dress in America, nobody goes out with this dress. So I started laughing at him. You are wearing half pants, and in India nobody goes female with half pants out. So difference of beliefs. So if we are aware of the beliefs being harbored, these very beliefs give us the feeling of happiness or unhappiness. And we have fixed beliefs about son-in-law, daughter-in-law, and whatnot. Be aware about the beliefs, and if required, try to change them for better. And ultimately, the belief of ownership and doership. Once a gentleman received a call that your house is on fire. Okay, my house is on fire. Then the other end gave the description, number so and so in such and such street, and that fellow started smiling. Oh, why you are smiling? Your house is on fire. I have sold that house 1 week back. So mindness is gone with a piece of paper. So belief of mindness, ownership belief and doership belief, and ultimately belief about the state of being, which will come later on, who am I? So that's where the secrets lie of our life. Positive visions. Do circumstances make us happy or unhappy? How many of you feel that circumstances are mainly responsible for making us happy or unhappy? How many of you feel? Raise your hands. Only 2. So most of them are on my side. It is not the circumstances, it is vision of looking at the circumstances which really make us happy or unhappy. I'll give you just 1 or 2 examples. Difficulties in life. Nobody likes difficulties in life. But if we look back, really they are the stepping stones which has led me to explore my inner abilities, which has made me more mature, which has led me my egoism to remain normal. If somebody insults me, on the face I may not like it. But if I go back with the holistic vision, I should be thankful because he has obliged me by making my egoism normal and by relieving me of the karmic bonds. So similarly, actually one who understands these holistic inner science visions will have no suffering, no loss in any of the circumstances of the life, whatever the people may say, good or bad. So that was about the difficulties in life, and Lord Mahavir used to teach his disciples that look at what you are left with rather than looking at what you have lost. Now I come to the second important part, as I have said, human life, a unique life experiment. Let's go to the core truths of fundamentals and principles of our own human life and living. And as I said initially, the experiment part comprises of my inner self, mind, reflective consciousness, intellect, ego, speech and body and outer circumstances, and living as I am name bearer, I am Dr. Shailesh, is the experimenter. Now here I want to know what is in my realm and what is not. Am I independent doer? Now most of us feels that we came to seminar, right? So we came independently or not? How
Yes.
many of you say that it is in our realm or it was in our realm, independent realm to come here? How many of you say? Only one. Most of them. So how many of them you say no? Very few. So most of them are on a borderline. Fine. So we came independently on the surface. But if I am asked in depth, suppose I am to come here, but some circumstances came in between. Somebody fell sick, or I myself fell sick. Then I might have to do a regret call to Vijay uncle. that, oh, I was desperately for coming, but sorry, the circumstances prevent me. Or somebody came, or somebody near and fell sick. So for any event to happen, so many circumstantial evidences are required to come in a harmonious way. Kalpana Chawla's spaceship went up. For a single evidence of thermal insulation, everything crashed down. And have you ever thought, who runs this machinery when we are asleep? We have taken good meal and gone to sleep. Who keeps heart breathing? Who does all the functions of digesting? So when the things, is it okay? When the things go according to my expectation, I say I did it. But when the things go contrary, I start blaming circumstances, I start blaming partner, I start blaming stars and whatnot. And am I independent about my mind? How many of you feel that you are independent about your mind? Couple of people. I am not. Because when my mind starts showing me the adverse thoughts, there is no stop switch and no pause switch. Am I independent about my speech? No. I may have decided I'll speak like this, something else may come out. So the visionaries tell that mind, body, speech, which is known as Prakriti part, and inner and outer circumstances, it's a play of circumstances where I am instrumental doer, but I am not independent doer. So the next question is where my independence lies. So life has two parts. One is the part of happenings, which is dependent on scientific circumstantial evidences, and another is the part of decision, projection or vow, living as I am name bearer, which is occurring inside. I will give you an example very soon, and that's the part where I am independent. So let's see, suppose we are, let's say 80 or 100 people sitting over here, the action is same. Do you think everybody's inner decision or vow will be same when we walk out at 2 o'clock in the afternoon? What do you think? No. Everybody will have a different decision or vow or projection. Somebody will say, oh, this is a wonderful science, we must know and experience thoroughly. Somebody will have a decision, oh, that was a good time pass and let's not go again. So similarly, while passing through different stages of life, suppose Vijay uncle and few people are doing some voluntary work over here and they meet several people that would you contribute something for this good cause? Somebody like me will give $101 and he may give $1,001. Now Vijay uncle knows me that he is a doctor and he cannot be left for just $101. So he sits with me, takes my snakes, my tea and makes me write the check of $11,000. Now he walks away and then the Magan uncle comes. You did a nice job by giving $11,000 and I come out with what? I never wanted to give this much. Out of sheer pressure, I had to give. So my inner decision was not to give, but I had to give. So this, while passing through the life, continuously, incessantly, spontaneously, I am generating inner decisions or projections, positive or negative, and based on my understanding, I sign, agree or disagree with that, and that's where the very important part happens. Now, how these inner projections or bhav work in the scheme of nature, let's go to that. So this is where the whole concept of fate and free will. Krishna Bhagavan said, Karmanyeva adhikaraste ma phalesu kadachana, but people could not understand what is karma and what is karma phal. I say that I go punctually 9:30 sharp at my clinic and that's my karma. But sometimes I have to ring that even though 10 patients are waiting, that sorry, I'm strangled in some other surgery, it has been taken long and cancel the appointments. So if it was my independence, why can't I go to 9:30? It is not karma, it is karma phal. Karma is my inner decision to be punctual. So that is very important. Now how does this work? So suppose I had decided to have one wife, inner decision. Then I do, why are you laughing? Doesn't everybody decide that? So example should be very pertinent. So suppose at the age of 12 or 14, I decided to have one wife. Then I did some more codes. She should be beautiful. No. It's all right, she should be more educated. Or she should be beautiful and educated both. Oh no, that's not enough. She should be from a rich family. So whatever codes I did inside, nobody else knew it, but I decided, signed it, and that's my decision of projection. So inside there is a smaller computer, individual computer, in which it is recorded. And outside there is a vast natural cosmic computerized system into which my data is fed up. Now, what the nature says, wait, time is not ripe, you have to be 20, 22, 23, 24 for the things to happen. And at the 22, 23, nature starts giving me the circumstantial evidences. 25, 30 girls are shown to me and I select one. And the people who have shown me say, oh, you have rejected much more
beautiful and much more educated, but they never knew where my code were matching. So the nature's job is to give the result by way of circumstantial evidences, accumulation and dispersion of the evidences. I had projected something like to be a doctor. That was only my decision of projection. I never knew which was going to be my college, who were going to be my professors, who were going to be my friends, who were going to be my future patients and my future staff. With one projection, nature put everything together at the appropriate time. So our job is to decide properly, to feed in the data properly, and that's my independence, my adhikar, otherwise it's the nature. Now how does the natural regulatory system work? As I already said, there is a process of charge and discharge. Creation is done by humans, disposal is done by nature. Let me go back and explain you the scientific process. No sooner I do the decision of helping somebody or slapping somebody, I am attracting the atoms and molecules from outside. They are sucked in and sort of electromagnetism, they are getting printed or charged, and we have the DVDs and hard drives and CDs. We cannot see with naked eyes, but the print is there. So no sooner we put into play, those prints come into action. Here also similar things happen, and throughout my life, the collection of my decisions and projections make the causal body. And that causal body goes and works with the nature to give me the effective body in the future circumstances, and it has the physical existence. So this result is given by the natural regulatory system, which is a very organized, orderly system of giving the result. Now knowing this, how should we apply in the life and living? Should I sit with the crossed hands, doing only the decisions and nothing doing else? No. In happenings, drive your car with open eyes. That means do the best with all the care, caution and best of your ability, and leave rest to nature. And once the result comes, whether according to your expectation or different from your expectation, because now we have understood the whole science, we have to say that whatever has happened is just and correct. This is what Krishna really meant us to understand, which will save you from lot of after effects and lot of turmoil going on within. So summarizing the nature and natural laws which are affecting my life, whatever has happened is just and correct, which I already have described. There is no injustice in the natural regulatory system. Our human systems may do injustice, but in the natural system, there is no injustice even for a fraction of a second, for fraction of an atom. So understand, having understood this, I will not incur the double loss. One happening already has occurred, but the loss means after effects occurring due to ill understanding will be stopped. And the second is one who suffered is at fault. I'm not going into detail for this, I'll leave it open to you as a question. And how to best to use this relative free will. I want my colleague Deepakanandji to expound onto this because he will have a practical session on how to live it. But two bhavanas or resolves. In the morning I decide that let my mind, body, speech not hurt any living being in the world, and let my mind, body, speech make one and all happy. And my second resolve is seeking the permanent happiness. I want to know who am I, and that cannot be known by 4 Vedas or Google research. But for that I wish to come across somebody living who has the thorough experience of self and non-self, so I wish to have the Jnanipurus. These are my two principal bhavanas, and it encompasses everything, all scriptures, all the things which you want to know. And there are 9 codes of conduct as the bhavanas, and if you see they are lying over there, and you can catch hold of, pick up one in the recess, something like that. And if you study that, you will see that most of the things required are there. Power of projection. Rajachandra or Dada Bhagwan or Gandhiji had projected only one thing. Gandhiji projected, let me make India free. And everything came across his way and he could fulfill this. Dada Bhagwan had a single bhavana, let one and all attain happiness and peace. Today we sitting here is nature fulfilling his bhavana, sitting over there. So power of projection, anything and everything can be achieved in the universe if you continuously remain sincere and work hard for your bhavana. So decide, remain sincere and work hard. Now another important part, having understood this, can one change behavior soon? Every preacher, teacher, scripture tells us do this, don't do this. I also want to behave like that, but I get frustrated when I can't behave like that. Nobody wants to be get angry, but it happens that we get angry. So what is the science? Duryodhan told Krishna, Janami dharmam nachame pravrutti, janami adharmam nachame nivrutti. So for the first time Dada Bhagwan said that effect or fruit cannot be changed, you need to change cause or seed. My present prakriti or behavior is the effect or result of my previous beliefs and opinions, which may or may not be changed soon. What I need to change is my present understanding, my present opinions, and holistic inner science leads to effortless change of inner visions, inner opinions, leading to change of inner decisions or projections and behavior will follow. So this is a very effective, simple science. And now the third part, who am I? Now all of us know who am I, don't we know? How many of us know who am I? All? Yes, I know. I am doctor. I am Shailesh. My name is Shailesh.
That's not it.
That's not real. Yeah, that you are correct. So, my name is Shailesh. This is my wristwatch, my spectacle, my house, my bungalow. But who is I there saying is my? If on one side I put everything, my name, my house, my money, my mind, my speech, my body, my ego, my feelings, my karmas, then what is left out? Is I. That is what Veda say. I don't know the slok, but one slok of Veda said कि मैं मन नहीं हूँ, बुद्धि नहीं हूँ, चित्त नहीं हूँ, इमोशन नहीं हूँ, चिदानंद स्वरूपोहम, चिदानंद स्वरूपोहम. So what is I then? Again, the part of my is having beginning and end. That means it is ever changing. So who knows that it has a beginning and end, or it is ever changing? Has to be without beginning and end, means it has to be permanent and it has to be never changing. So if we can separate my and I, then probably we come to know who am I. So know the knower and you have known the everything. Sometimes we say I enjoyed and I slept. Then who knew it all? And doer and knower cannot be one and same, it has to be separate. So one who knows the knower has known everything, or one needs to know the true nature of real self. And two graphics, elementally, scientifically, there is pure conscious and matter. Both are two elements with own existential matter and properties. As they to come together, the extra special properties, that is, I am knower, I am doer, I am name bearer, anger, pride, deceit, attachment, or prakriti comes into play. And in both, the existential matter or innate properties of anyone are not changed. It is only the change of phases or transformation of phases taking place, which is the whole universe about. And a word about self-realization or initiation, as I already said, it cannot be attained by words, but it is by experience. And in good times, it was available or it was attainable by step-by-step cleansing process, yama, niyama, dhyana, dharana, whatever. But in today, even for a seeker, it is difficult to understand the core or essence of Gita, Agam or Vedas, and it is still more difficult to achieve the results. Gita says that remain with equal vision to everybody. But how can I remain with equal vision? One is my underhand or staff and one is my boss. Meaning thereby with one relative vision I cannot achieve the results. So for that, in the present times, what we have experienced is through the grace of Gnani Purush, we were fortunate to have the grace and sail through the stepless path. And difference of Kram and Akram is, in Kram or step-by-step path, I have to progress with the doership and ownership beliefs till end, whereas in Akram, it makes you free of doership and ownership beliefs and all dualities. How? We can see later on in the question and answer session. So transformations and experience my journey. I was fortunate to be introduced to this holistic inner science way back in 1977 when I was at the age of 18, having finished my first MBBS. And I experienced that wrong belief was fractured and right belief set in. So long I had a Bahiratma state. With that, I entered into Antaratma state, and on the journey towards Paramatma, inner bliss started. My reflective consciousness, which was wandering outside all the time, started coming within, and at the present moment, I can experience that most of the times the reflective consciousness is not wandering at all. Patanjal's yoga is all meant for Chitta-Vritti Nirodha, restrain your wandering reflective consciousness, but one can't do it. With this, it became very easy for us. Prajna or enlightened wisdom came in, 5 simple precepts were given, which makes me do both the relative and real living harmoniously balanced, And as I said, Brahma Satya Jagat Mithya, no, word relative correct and myself real correct. So self-functional or self-operational science with constant awareness. And it is a wonderful, subtle science where the scientific understanding of scientific circumstantial evidence is made me free of doership beliefs. And so long as doership and ownership beliefs are not gone, there is no real realization of the pure self. So now the experiment and experimenter, the experimenter has changed to different state of being, knowing who am I, and in a relative dealings, I do say that I operated you, but within I believe that I am pure self and I am not the doer, and I also know who is the doer, and with that nothing of the universe is out of ambit of these 5 precepts, and it offers the essence of Gita, Agams, or even more, whatever you believe, and I bow my heads to these 2 holistic scientists through which I am experiencing, and I shared few of the things with you. I hope it made you somewhat experience the inner happiness. Thank you very much, Jai Sri Ram.